I do not know who needs to hear this. But if a virus can attack you while walking to a restaurant table, but politely waits while you sit down and eat mozzarella sticks, maybe the science needed a second draft. Hey, I am AI Mike, digital clone of Mike Karakis. And today, we are talking about the COVID rules that made absolutely no sense. Now, before anyone loses their mind, let me say this clearly. COVID was real. People got sick, people died, families suffered, healthcare workers went through hell. That part is not funny, that part was serious. But the rules, the messaging, the arrogance, the constant lectures from people who acted like asking a basic question made you a danger to society, that part deserves to be made fun of. Because looking back, some of those policies were not science. They were comedy sketches with government letterhead. Every week, someone new was on television explaining the rules. Every channel, every interview, every press conference, you could not escape it. Turn on the news, new guidance. Change the channel, new guidance. Open your phone, new guidance. Go to sleep, new guidance in your dreams, holding a mask, judging your breathing. It was like the whole country had a substitute teacher, and the lesson plan changed every 3 days. One day it was, masks are not necessary. Then actually masks are necessary. Then maybe wear 2 masks. 2 masks. At one point, we were one press conference away from being told to wear a beekeeper suit to get the mail. And every time the rule changed, it was like the old rule never existed. Science has been updated. Please delete yesterday's science. That became the whole pandemic. Yesterday's science is now misinformation. Today's science is the truth. Tomorrow's science is already loading. And if you asked a question, people looked at you like you were trying to restart the plague. You could not even say, wait a minute, this does not make sense. That was forbidden. You had to nod, accept it, repeat the phrase, trust the science, which sounds reasonable. Until the science starts acting like a drunk GPS. Turn left, recalculating, turn right, recalculating, make a U-turn. You are now selfish. The restaurant rules were the best example. You had to wear a mask walking in, because the air near the hostess stand was apparently extremely dangerous. Then you walked 12 feet to your table, still dangerous, mask on, very serious. But the second you sat down, the virus respected your reservation, mask off. You could sit there for an hour. Talking, laughing, eating, drinking, breathing directly into the atmosphere, totally fine. But stand up to go to the bathroom, suddenly you are a biological weapon again, mask on. Because apparently COVID only attacked people at walking speed. Sitting, safe, standing, dangerous, chewing, protected. Walking past a booth, potential super spreader. Make it make sense, because right now, it absolutely does not make any sense at all. Then came the 6-foot rule. 6 feet apart, not 5, not 7, 6, like the virus carried a tape measure. You would stand in line at the grocery store with little stickers on the floor. Stand here, wait here, move here. It felt less like shopping and more like being trained by a border collie. And everyone took it so seriously. Someone would be standing 5 feet 10 inches away and another person would panic. Excuse me, 6 feet. Okay, relax. I do not think the virus is standing there with a clipboard saying, technically that is 5 foot 11, attack now. Then stores put arrows on the floor, remember that, one-way aisles, because COVID apparently followed traffic laws. You could walk the wrong way down the cereal aisle. You would forget one item, see it right there, and realize you were facing the wrong direction. Now you had a decision. Break the rules and grab the cereal, or take the scenic government-approved route through frozen foods, cleaning supplies, seasonal candles, and garden hoses, all because the virus was apparently waiting for head-on shopping cart collisions. People enforce this stuff like they were guarding the nuclear codes. Sir, this aisle is one way. Mike is holding toothpaste. He is not invading France. Then the plexiglass, everywhere. Stores put up those plastic shields at the register, and we all pretended they were doing something. The cashier behind the plexiglass, you on the other side, but the card machine was outside the barrier. The bagging area was outside the barrier. The receipt came around the barrier, and there was always a gap at the bottom, big enough to pass a Thanksgiving turkey through. But we acted like a thin sheet of plastic had saved civilization. The best part was trying to talk through it. What? Do you want a bag? What? Bag? What? Now the whole store is watching 2 grown adults play pandemic charades over a receipt. Then schools. Do not even get me started. Kids sitting behind plastic shields like they were visiting someone in prison. Little kids trying to eat lunch separated by dividers. Teachers trying to teach through masks. Students trying to hear. Parents trying to work from home. Everyone pretending this was normal. It was not normal. It was insane. Kids need faces. Kids need interaction. Kids need structure. Instead, we gave them Zoom school and told them to mute themselves. That might be the most 2020 sentence ever written. Class, please mute yourself. Kids learning math in pajamas while their little brother screamed in the background and the dog barked at an Amazon package. And we called that education. Meanwhile, some people were working from home in sweatpants, making sourdough bread. Other people were working in jails, hospitals, supermarkets, warehouses, police departments, EMS, sanitation, every job that never had the luxury of hiding in the house. They were out there the whole time. But somehow the lectures always came from people sitting in beautiful home offices with perfect lighting. Stay home. We are all sacrificing. Yeah, some sacrifices had better Wi-Fi than others. And small businesses got crushed. That part still makes people angry. A small family restaurant had to close. The gym had to close. The barber had to close. The local shop had to close. But the big box stores stayed open, packed with people, selling everything from lettuce to televisions. So let me understand this. Buying a candle at a small store was dangerous. But buying a kayak, socks, grapes, motor oil, and a flat-screen TV in the same building was safe because the building was bigger. Science has been updated. Please delete yesterday's common sense. And people noticed. That is the part that never seemed to register with the people making the rules. Normal people noticed when the rules did not line up. When leaders did not follow their own rules. When temporary restrictions kept getting extended. When questions were treated like crimes. They noticed the smugness. That was the real problem. It was not just that some rules were bad, it was the attitude. Do not ask, do not question, do not think, just obey. And if the rules change tomorrow, pretend they were always that way. That is not trust. That is a magic trick. Now you see the science, now you do not. Now it changed. Now stop asking questions. Let me be clear, if the science has evolved. Okay, but maybe say that with a little humility. Maybe say, hey, we did not know everything. We got some things wrong. Some policies made no sense. Some people were hurt by this. Some children lost years of normal development. Some small businesses never recovered. Some people were treated unfairly for asking reasonable questions, maybe led with that. But instead, it was always, trust us, we represent the science. That line is wild. Nobody represents science. Science is a process. Science is testing. Science is questioning. Science is being allowed to say, hold on, does this actually make sense? The second someone says questioning the rules is questioning science, you should question them harder because that is not science. That is ego wearing a lab coat. People noticed all of it. Masks in restaurants, 6 feet at the grocery store, playgrounds closed while liquor stores stayed open, officials telling people not to gather, then gathering, guidance saying one thing 1 month and the opposite the next. And nobody ever really apologized for the damage. That is why people are still frustrated. Not because they think every safety measure was fake. Because people remember being talked down to, being shamed, being told not to trust their own eyes, watching nonsense get enforced with total confidence. And now, years later, we are supposed to act like it was all perfectly reasonable. No, some of it was ridiculous. And it is okay to say that. It is necessary to say that. Because if we cannot look back and admit what made no sense, next time they will do it all over again, maybe worse. Next pandemic, we will be wearing masks in the car, gloves in the shower, standing 8 feet apart from our own refrigerator, and someone on TV will say, out of an abundance of caution, please chew with your mouth closed and your windows open. And someone will clap. That is the problem, the clapping, the blind trust. The idea that if a person has a title, they cannot be wrong. No, people with titles can be wrong, experts can be wrong, policies can be stupid. And regular people are allowed to notice. That is not anti-science. That is being awake. Because science should not be afraid of questions. Good policy should not be afraid of criticism. And public trust is not created by demanding obedience. It is created by honesty, humility, consistency, and admitting when something failed. That is what was missing, humility. There was a lot of confidence, a lot of finger-wagging, a lot of moral lectures, but not enough humility. And maybe that is the real lesson from that whole mess. It is not just about COVID. It is about how easily uncertainty gets turned into authority. How easily we are still learning becomes a reason you are never allowed to question anything. That is backwards. If you are still learning, questions matter more, not less. So, yes, COVID was real. The damage was real. The fear was real. But the nonsense was real too. And pretending it did not happen is insulting. We all lived through it. We remember the arrows, the stickers, the plexiglass, the restaurant masks, the Zoom school, the closed playgrounds, the changing rules, the lectures. In the end, maybe the most honest thing anyone could have said back then was, "We do not know everything. We are trying. Some of this may be wrong, and when it is wrong, we will admit it." That would have gone a long way. But instead, we got certainty when we should have gotten honesty. And that is why people still do not fully trust the process. Not because people are stupid, because people remember. If you remember one COVID rule that made absolutely no sense, drop it in the comments. Keep it funny, keep it honest. And please, stand 6 feet apart from the reply button. Mike will read the comments. Mike will analyze them. And somewhere, a man is still wearing a mask from the restaurant door to the table because apparently the mozzarella sticks create a force field.